welcome to another Friday. It's another episode of Demystify Tech with me, Samuel, yours truly, right from Accra, Ghana. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever you find yourself. This is another episode of Demystify Tech. Today's episode is a mixture of a lot of things venting, tips and tricks, tooling, updates. It's everything mixed up in it. When we come back, I am going to share with you exactly what we'll be talking about. Stick and stay. Awesome, we are back again. Welcome to Demystify Tech. Yours truly, Samuel Adra. Yeah, let me bring up my list for today. So, in today's episode, it's a mixture of things. Talk about tools, equipment, software, Azure certifications, motivation, challenges, update, next steps for the channel. Everything mixed up in there. Welcome to you all joining us from Facebook, from Twitter, from Twitch, from all the social places. Welcome, welcome to the show. So, as always, before we get into it, I always like to bring a couple of things going on, and then I can start my ranting with something. So let's get right into it. So the very first one I want to talk about, yes, tomorrow was supposed to have been the virtual event for the Accra Power Platform. We had some technical challenges, so that's not going to be coming off tomorrow. It's going to be shifted to the next Saturday. So I'm going to get that, out of the way, sorted for you, and we'll send the message out to the group. Next. Yes. I'm going to be on the Powerful Devs Com 15th of July. That's next week from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. PDT. So don't get it twisted. We're going to be talking about IoT and the Power Platform. This is awesome. Always giving an opportunity to showcase and to, do some collaboration and creation and mashup of technology. So don't miss this. You can sign up at aka.ms/powerfuldevconf. That is the ish. There's going to be speakers like Scott Guthrie, the Duna is there, Mariana Gaga is there. Lots of crazy and interesting people from the community are going to be on the bill. So don't miss it. All right. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the Microsoft 365 Charity Quiz. Yep. It's a virtual event to support a global movement, awareness of injustice, Black Lives Matter, and all the good cause that, the underserved and the privileged, and, all you can think about. It's happening on the 30th of July in 6 locations or 6 regions, including Africa. So I'll be sharing the links on my social media pages. Go check it out. You just have to, donate some small amount, take part in the quiz, prizes to be won, and all proceeds from this is going to go to charity. This is an awesome cause that we want all of you to be a part of. Tell a friend to tell another friend to tell a friend to tell another friend to be part of this awesome experience. Well, to the next thing that really is going to kick off with my venting and ranting. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the show. Wherever if you have any questions, just put it in there. And down there, and I'll try as I'm supposed to answer that. Well, awesome. So let's go to the next thing. Now, please do not mock me. Do not mock me what I'm going to tell you. So let's let's do this. So within the week, I posted this picture on my Twitter feed. Yes, you're right. You're seeing correctly. Yes. So, you realized a couple of weeks ago I wasn't able to stream because I was having challenges with the internet, some logistics, and all that. So I decided to get another ISP, like a secondary, kind of like a secondary internet solution dedicated to the stream. So sorry if you're having some laggy feeds today. Forgive me because I'm back to the old one, which was giving me problems. Now, and I'll explain why. Yeah. So any other week I posted this. The installation was done, I think, on Monday. We did test, and I was getting 1 gigabit per second. Seriously, like no jokes. I was actually getting this 1 gigabit per second. That's what I was hitting. Now, so I was, all bumped up and all that. I was now saying, yeah, I could do, I could do 10 like high resolution. I could do high bit with a stream. I tried it on Tuesday. I had a couple of, drop frames and all that. Well, nothing too much about it. I retweaked, did the test again, and I still got 1 gigabit per second. Now, last night, my router decided, I was just blinking red. And as I speak with you, the recently installed fiber connection for my stream is down. The fiber is down. It's not working, and it's I've been so pissed the whole of last night and today, trying to figure this out, trying to like what could be happening. And the sad part is that when I called the customer service, I was told that this was going to be resolved within 2 days. I was like, who resolves these issues in 2 days? So assuming this was my business, all right, it means I was going to be down for 2 days. Well, thank God for backup internet, which is already giving me, issues. All right. Well, let's see. Well, so so that's the very first venting. So as we speak, my main, fiber for the show is down. I'm expecting that probably by Monday they should resolve it and we can get good quality streams again. But then again, I'm also recording this. I will put it up after that. So let's get back into why we are here today. So first of all, as you can see from my list, I want to be talking about a couple of things. Let me bring this back to myself so you can look into my face while I talk. So we know we are not in normal times, and I have been keeping up with this stream for some time now, trying to get people going, learning, and doing new stuff. I get a lot of questions about how do you do it, what tools do you use, and all that. So in today's episode, there's going to be a section that I'm going to dedicate to talk about that. But before we do that, interestingly, this week there was an amazing update. Now, don't forget that I redefined the scope of this show. It was Functions Friday. We changed to Demystify Tech, which encompasses everything. But for the last couple of weeks, I've been saying that my focus is going to be on the Graph, Microsoft Graph, Teams, and then I'm going to add a static web apps to it so that we can mix that up and create awesome applications. Now, because Teams is part of the selection for the series, there was an announcement on Teams. Cool thing, which I want you, if you've not heard, I'm going to play a video, check it out, look at the announcement. It's awesome, awesome. And then also, I'll also be talking about how to do what we call breakouts. Most people have been asking, how do I do a breakup in Teams? I'm going to show you how to do a breakups in Team. And then I would share how or ways to actually do I wish I had someone online, but that's fine. I'll show you ways to share PowerPoint when you're using Teams to do stuff. So first, let's go ahead and look at the announcement that was made this week for Teams. So let's bring this here. Let's go here and then take a listen.
Be together, even.
Sorry about that. So I'm going to start this. So this was the announcement.
Microsoft Teams is the hub for teamwork in Microsoft 365. It's one place where people can chat, share files, and work together. But now that video conferences are the new normal, there are times when people need to feel like they're in the same room. That's when you can turn on Together mode. It puts your team in one shared space. Microsoft AI helps break down barriers, letting you communicate more naturally and feel more connected to your team. It works for coffee breaks, team meetings, or your next all hands. So from everyday get-togethers to important meetings, be together even when you're apart.
Yes, that is what I wanted to talk about, the Together mode. The Together mode that was announced by Microsoft earlier this week by Satya himself. This is a way to virtually bring, all of us together in one, the psychology of, meeting as a team, all the coffee break times, all the, auditorium sessions and all that. So this feature allows you to, to enable and have that feeling. So be watching for that coming out. I think in some of the preview. If you're running preview, you should have it. But I'll be giving you more updates as that unfolds. So that is the first thing I want you to watch. Now, the couple of things that I also want to stress on that most people do not understand the power of of Microsoft Teams in this times we find ourselves. So to also throw light on that, I'm going to show another video that is going to help us, understand the power and essence of the Microsoft Teams. So let me set this up. Let me bring this here and then bring this here and then so just let's watch this and then we'll come back to this. Yep, awesome. So that is it in a nutshell. So if you were worried and concerned about what Microsoft Teams was, I'm sure that that video would have summed the whole thing up for you, in one go. So yeah, that is out of the way. Now let's get into a couple of things that I want to talk about so that I can just check this off. Don't worry, I'm going to check this off my way. You should check out Teams on mobile as well. Really solid, really cool. Allows you to do some things you can do on the desktop version. Like for instance, on the mobile version, you can actually add multiple accounts and you can switch between those accounts really quickly. As opposed to the one on the desktop, you find you have some problems doing that. So try that out. You should be fine. Cool. So I'm going to talk about, first of all, I'm going to be talking about some of the tools I use. And then I'll probably move into tools and equipment. I'll move into software, and then I'll talk a little bit about a couple of things that. So, yeah, as you all know, I stream 3 times a week: Tuesdays for IoT, Fridays today for Demystify Tech, and Sundays for Power Series. Yes, basically, tools of the game and equipment will definitely a laptop, a webcam. If you have an integrated webcam, that's fine. You can use a webcam. I have two lights, flex lights here. You could do with one, that's fine. And one thing I advise is that when you're getting into this streams and stuff like that, you don't overkill it. You don't just get the very minimum and basic stuff you need to get going. So you need a laptop with camera. I always recommend you get another monitor because if you're going to run OBS and other tools, you'd want that to be on a different screen. Like right now, um, I'm running two extra monitors in addition to my laptop. That's just because my work setup is that way. But for most of the streams, I'm using just the extra laptop to look at what OBS is doing, what's streaming, so I can have a feel of what I'm sending to you guys live right now. So that's it. In terms of software, I use OBS. That's what I use for all the live stream. I use Restream.io. That allows me to stream to the multiple platforms. That's how come you see me on Facebook, see me on Twitter, Periscope, and other places because I'm using Restream, and Restream is pushing it to all these places for me. So that's in terms of the software. Um, then people talk about motivation. Well, this is the time. If you have any question for me, you can ask me, and I'll try to answer them. People talk about motivation, and yesterday I was having a conversation with a friend. I won't mention the person's name, but to be very honest, those of us who put content out, putting content out um, is not an easy thing. No matter how familiar you are with, no matter how consistent you are, there are days that you just don't feel like putting out content. I mean, trust me. I thought I was the only one, but then across the community, a lot of my colleagues have expressed the same feeling, and especially in these times where you feel like I'm home throughout, and then I still have to, sit through this and put the content out. It's not an easy feat. But for me personally, what motivates and encourages me to do what I do is obviously not for the money, because no one pays me to do this. I'm not paid by any of the technology companies to, I don't work for Microsoft. Even yes, I'm an MVP, but I'm not paid to do all these things. It's just for the love of the community and for the love of technology. I love to share knowledge. I love to, put things out there. And, I like to learn new things and share. So one of the motivations is the fact that people keep, sending you messages and reaching out to you, asking for help and telling you how helpful videos you have put up, is for them. Mr. Fanuel, welcome to the show. You're connecting with us from Facebook. Thank you very much. People express how, and actually, it's coincidental that I'm talking about this same thing. And I mean, I'm going to put you on the spot, Fanuel. Fanuel was one of the people that asked me, how do I do it? Like, I'm 3 streams in a week. Some people are doing just 1 stream and they barely catch up and they're barely able to keep up with that. Well, the truth is the passion, and also to know that people are benefiting from the videos I do. And sometimes to stay very consistent is hard. There are days that, and don't forget that I'm working full time and there are other commitments I need to do. So sometimes, you know, oh, and Miss Ades has joined us. Thank you very much. Thank you, Thompson. Thank you for joining me. And aside those responsibilities, you're like, you need to put something out. You need to put something, because the moment you stop to do that, you become inconsistent and people, start to question. But for me, it's to know that every single thing I put out, I mean, every single thing I put out helps people, who watch, gives them, some people watch and are like, oh, I didn't know this existed and I could do this. Yeah. And that's the kind of feeling I get when people, watch the show and give the feeling. And that's what keeps me going. Another thing is that you need to understand, you need to have people around you who understand the value of what you're doing. It might not initially bring money, but you need the people around you to understand that what you're doing is valuable. What you're doing, without being paid, is helping people, and you need to have their support. Because sometimes, I feel like I don't want to do it, and my wife is like, hey, it's Tuesday, it's Friday, it's Sunday, you have to put up a show. So not just that, there are people who are like, dude, what's happening? What are we talking about today? So you need this kind of people in your, ecosystem to support you. And I'm going to, sorry, but I'm going to mention your name, April. Thank you so much for the conversation we had yesterday. Like, she reached out to me. I was like, are you facing any challenges? That tells you how the community is willing, to help you, work with this. A lot of times people come to me, and sorry guys, today is not, it doesn't sound a bit techie, but I'll do the techie part at the end of the show, so stick and stay. I just want to throw this out there to help people. Um, a lot of people come to me and are like, Sam, I don't know, I want to start streaming, but I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to stream. I don't know what to do. Well, the simplest answer is, what do you love to do? And I've seen a couple of people, Fanuel, DeLong, Foster. I've seen a couple of the people, coming up with creative ways to get, to stay sane. Let's put it that way. Because trust you me, there's a lot of psychological and emotional and how do I say it, like even physical stress that this whole COVID and stay home thing, puts on us. So you need to figure out ways to do it. But back to the point. The question is, what do you love doing? I love technology, and everybody who knows me from way back knows that Sam lives, breathes, sleeps, dies, does everything with technology. And therefore, for me, that's why I'm channeling, the passion into what I do. So all my streams, technology in solving problems. So I have harnessed that interest, that enthusiasm, that passion, and I'm creating the show. That's how come you're enjoying it. So we can say the same thing for yourself. So looking at the fact that if it is sewing that comes natural to you, start a show. Just start sewing, basics of sewing. You'll be surprised that a lot of people will love it. Now, people ask the question, people are doing stuff and they're getting millions of views on YouTube. Trust you me. you don't have to start and put out the most complicated or the most advanced thing on the web. All right. You always need to start with the very basics. Strikes me there are people who don't understand anything and want to learn from scratch. So whatever you love, if it's ice cream you love making, why don't you start a show about making ice cream? All right. If it is sketching, whatever it is, why don't you make a show with that? And this keeps you going. And the more you do this and you start receiving the compliments and you start receiving the comments from people saying that, look, your videos are helping me, your videos are keep, then you'll be motivated to keep doing it. And now one thing is that don't expect that when you start immediately you're going to get like a lot of views. I remember when I started, like zero people, like no one would watch like live. I would just go the whole hour live and nobody watches it, but then subsequently you get like two, three, four people watching it. But then over time, as the news spread and people got to understand what I was doing, George Kujo, thank you very much for joining us. As people understood what I was doing, people now were looking. Like yesterday, another, a friend of mine on Twitter was like, "Sam, are we doing Demystify tomorrow?" I was like, "Yes, we're doing Demystify tomorrow." So that's how you grow it. So start small, build it, and don't worry about the perfect picture. You always have to start from somewhere, fine tune it, and then you get there. Now, for those having privilege to see my studio, my home studio, yeah, some people think is over the top, but it's not over the top. I mean, it's just that yes, I happen to have this equipment around, so I'm using them. So I'll try to let's see if I can actually, what? My place is a bit messy, but I'm going to release this a bit so I can, yeah, let me release this a bit. Yep. Okay, cool. So I'm going to switch quickly to my bench cam so let me see if I can share a couple of things with you. So obviously, if you've been following my IoT show, you've seen my bench a lot of times. Okay, so this is my bench, stuff on the bench, my IoT boards and all that. Okay. So hopefully today my office is not that messy, so I can I can show you this. All right, so this is like the back there where you have like my stuff. This is still my desk. I'm going to pan this way so you can see. So this is my setup. So first time I'm showing my setup. So this is my setup. So I have, as you can see from here, I have like this is for my podcast. This is my Zoom. I use this to do my audio recording, Zoom H6. And then you can see that's the other monitor where usually I kind of like keep my bullet points for what I'm doing. That's one of the lights. This is my main camera, and here is the main laptop, and as you can see, my keyboard. And then if you look there, I have an old iPad which I have converted into a teleprompter, and then this is the second monitor I use, and up here on this side there is a second light. So this is my setup. Okay, this is the setup. Oh yeah, there's one more thing here I want to show. So here, so this is my stream deck. All right, so this is what I use to change the scenes because I'm a one man production. I use this to flip between the scenes you're seeing. So right now, if I want to go to the main camera, let me show you this here. So if I want to go to the main camera, I just do this, and now you see me on the main camera. If I want to switch back to that view, I do this, and you're back on that view. So this is what I use to do that. And then obviously I can see a lot of gadgets and Alexa and stuff in there. So that is like my setup. That's how I'm set up right now. So in terms of motivation, just start small. Pick something you're passionate about. Get a friend, get a family, get your partner. And one thing that it's is interesting is that in this particular time where you are home together with a family, see if you can come up with even like a talk show, right, or something with your family. And you don't even need to, it doesn't have to be a video stream. It could just be record it on your phone, use Audacity to edit it and put it out there on WhatsApp or social media for people to talk about, right? It's the same thing. So these are things you can do. These are things that you can do, you know um to get to get yourself going. So I've talked about tools equipment. I've shown you my setup. I've talked about some of the softwares. And at this point, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the channel. I'll try to answer that. So let's talk about a couple of things that um, a couple of trends that I've seen that worries me that I want to talk about. So first of all, I happen to be part of a couple of WhatsApp groups that technology related. Now, if you remember closely, um, back in the days where the internet wasn't readily available, one of the problems we always had was with information or access to information. So you would get like it was very hard to find how do I do HTML, how do I do CSS, JavaScript. That information wasn't readily available. All right, but then so at that point, I remember those days. If you were Thank you very much. Emmanuel, Jonah, it's been like ages. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, some of these things keep us going to know that what we are doing helps you guys, learn and, get new stuff. Not to deviate, but one of the things I tell all my friends is that, look, I don't have money to give you. The only thing I can give you is technology. So even if you're thinking of planting cassava or doing some agric somewhere, come and talk to me. Let's see how we can make technology make it work. That's just me. So back to the case. Um, so in those days, if you were doing PHP, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you were the ish. Like people, we protected our code like it was, that was our whole like livelihood. And now there is internet. There's a lot of information. Now the problem. So a lot of people come to me like, Sam, I want to learn programming. Can you mentor me? I want to do this. I want to learn this. I don't know where to start from. I don't know where to go. Now today, what we have is information overload. And I see in a lot of WhatsApp groups and other social groups, people just posting like, and my group is a corporate. Josh, forgive me, but other people are corporate in other groups that they find myself. They give you like 30 something gig worth of various video trainings. Now, what you're doing is that you've overloaded yourself. At this point, the person doesn't know where to start from. It's like there's so much for the person to decipher. Does that make sense? So, in a way to avoid that, you need the guidance of someone. You need someone to walk with you. You need someone to tell you, you know what, like forget about the noise, discard the noise and focus. Start from point A and go to point B. With the information overload, some people are thinking, I need to get all this information because maybe down the line I won't have it. No, forget about down the line. You need to pick up, the steps, baby steps. Pick it from one point to the other. All right. That is the second thing I want to talk about. So that's with what I found out. So if you really want to succeed in this business, get a mentor, get someone to coach you, to help you, to work with you and guide you so you avoid the information overload. So I think that's like we've talked about that. Now the next thing is, yes, it's quite evident that this particular season is a period for you to learn, to skill up, to add some new skills onto your repertoire so that hopefully when this thing blows off, you'll be market ready to get into it. So training and learning and certification is a huge thing. I'll be talking about the Microsoft part today because that's what I'm much interested in. Now, there's one thing I also want you to be mindful of because some people have been asking me. So a couple of people were asking me this week that they had heard that some companies or some people were offering free certification, training, and all that with the how do you say it with some conditions. I won't state the conditions on the stream. Reasons being that what you need to understand is that Microsoft partnership is based on competencies, and competencies are based on the number of employees or staff you have that have Microsoft certifications or have passed certain exams. That gives your partner silver, gold, or whatever competencies. Now, there's some companies that are actually exploiting this option using, helpless or people that are just getting into it, paying, having them even pay some money and having them certifying and attaching their MCP IDs to their companies to be, to get their competencies. Don't do that. For all of you that are serious about it, I keep saying that If any company tells you that, let them employ you. Let them give you some. Let them give you a job than to say come and pay this amount of money, and then be certified and do something. Don't do that. Now, however, Microsoft also has a lot of free content online, and if you attend some of the Microsoft virtual event, you'll be giving examination vouchers to take the certifications. Some of them don't have the vouchers, but you can get the training. And here's the thing: most of us who succeeded in this business knew the value we wanted to add to ourselves, and so we had to take that initiative to support ourselves and to do it irrespective of the time. We understand there are financial constraints. There are entities out there that would help you, give you discounts, give you training, all right, and help you attain this certification with no strings attached. Is that okay? With no strings attached. All right. So I would encourage you to explore that option. Let's see. I think I can share. Where is that? Where is that? Yeah, I'm going to share the certification part so that we can quickly walk through it. Where did I put that? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, let me open this and then I would share this as well. Let's see. Yeah, let's bring this here. And then let's go back to this view. All right. So this is the Microsoft certification, it was last updated last month. So this is it. So you have three parts to go from, and let me know if you can see this. There is the Azure category, there's the modern workplace, and then there is the business applications. All right. Now, if you go all the way down, these are the entry levels that it's advisable for you to start. If you look at Azure, in fact, let's zoom in. Let's look at Azure first. So if you look at Azure right now, which is the first category, you have three fundamentals. All right. The first one is Azure Fundamentals, a general Azure, fundamentals into the Azure cloud. The second one is the AI 900, which is the Azure AI Fundamentals. So it gives you an intro into AI. So for those of you that are interested in AI, you can do that. And the third one is data. So those of you interested in data analytics and all that, you could take this as a starter. Now, once you've done that, you can move on, okay, to the specialty fields where you do things like IoT, SAP. These are specialty tracks if you want to. Then you can further go up and say that, okay, now I want to be an expert or I want to be an associate, all right? So then you take these subsequent exams. As you're moving up, you're actually picking up your specialty, all right? Now, the same thing can be said about, actually, let me paste the URL here so you guys can go check it out. Now, the second part is the modern workplace, all right? And it follows the same pattern. You start with the Microsoft 365 fundamentals, that is MS 900. You get all the fundamentals, then you move up, all right? At this point, you want to be like a, enterprise administrator expert, or you want to be a Teams administrator associate or security, and all these options, and then you build up all the way to the top. Now, the same thing can be said about the business application, the Power Platform, Dynamics, and all that. Again, you start with what? Power PL 900, which is the Power Platform fundamentals, which gives you fundamental of Power BI, Power Apps, Virtual, all of them. All right, and then, or you can do Dynamics 365 fundamentals. Once you do that, you can now move on into the expert level, into the associate level, and so on and so forth. All right. So I would entreat you to go check this out, and then look for a part, and then follow that part. Yeah, I think. Yeah, so that talks about training, certification, and Azure. Awesome. All right, so I've talked about the updates to Microsoft Teams. And I may mention to you that today's episode is just to demystify, answer a lot of questions I've been having throughout the whole of the week. All right. The next thing I want to make clear is that going forward, we're going to be doing a lot on this channel: functions, APIs, teams, graphs, static web apps. We're going to be seeing a lot of that on this show. So if you have any specific requirements that you want me to talk about on the Friday Demystify Tech, any technology on Azure Stack you want me to demystify, please send that to me. But in the next series of episodes, we're going to see how to use the graphs in our static web apps to work with some Teams application that we are going to build together with Azure Functions. All right. So that's what we're going to do. So that is the next steps for the channel. Now, finally, before we go, now let's get into some tips and tricks. So I'm going to show you how to do breakouts in Microsoft Teams. All right. So let's go ahead here. I'm going to flip to my flip to this. And whilst we're doing that, let me know if you have any questions. I'll try to answer them. Okay, so let's open Teams. Teams. I'm going to open Teams, and it's just going to connect me to one of my existing accounts. So I'm going to show you how to two things, two tips I'm going to show you before we end for today. The first one is I'm going to show you how to set up breakout, or Zoom has it, right? People say, "Oh, Zoom has it. Why doesn't Microsoft?" Well, Microsoft own involves a bit of manual work, but it's there. So let's say you're on a call and you want to create breakouts for people to go do their own thing and come back to the main call. I'm going to show you how to do that. And the second part, I'm going to show you how to actually present PowerPoint properly without the whole extra spaces when you're doing a Teams presentation. All right, so so this is our Teams. So I'm going to go ahead. Now, to do this, let me zoom in so you can see the Teams properly. So to do this, all right, first of all, you need to create the breakout rooms. That's it. So to do this, I'm going to click here on the ellipse, on the three dot ellipses, and then I'll say add a channel. All right, and I'll call this, let's call this breakout room 1. Okay, and then add. And I'm going to go ahead and create another one. Click here, add a channel, and I'll call this breakout room 2. And then you can see the privacy settings here. You can leave it to standard or private so that it's only accessible by group members. I'll just add this, and then I'll create a last one. Go ahead here, click on it, add a channel, and call it breakout room 3. All right, add. So now this creates the breakout rooms for you, 3 breakout rooms. So let's say if you're on a main call, all right, so let's go ahead and, so if you're on a main call, right, and then you want to join or you assign people to the breakout groups, all they need to do is that here, you know what, let me open my Zoom H2 so I can actually zoom into the side. So all they need to do is select the room, and then down here you should see this icon. All right, meet now. All right, select this one. So what happened is that, so I select breakout room 1, and then I click on it, right, meet now, and then it's going to pop up meet now. So I'm going to click on the meet now here, and as you can see, this joins me, adds me to this particular one. Let me change for this one, let me change my camera. Let's see, show setting, rated, sorry, this is let's just create a camera so it can pick this one properly. Yeah. Okay, so now I am in this particular room, right? So to go back to the other breakout session, breakout room, I'm just going to click back to click back on T. Sorry, let me click. And then here, as you can see, I'm going to go to breakout room again, click on that same meet icon down there, and then meet now. And now this adds me to breakout room 2. So you can see that now, because I'm in breakout room 2, there's an option for me to go join breakout room 1. So this is, let's say, if you are using this to teach, right? And you've given people, like, you put them into groups, and as a teacher, I want to, jump in and see what they are doing. This is how you join it. Now, click on the Teams again. And then let's go back so that I join the 3rd breakout room. So the same thing, select it and click here, and then meet it. So now what you're seeing is that you can see I have the option to go into any of the 2 breakout rooms. So for instance, I want to go, so currently I'm in breakout room 3. If I want to go into breakout room 2, all I have to do is just click here, and then now see it's brought me into breakout room 2. If I want to go into breakout room 1, I just click here, and then it takes me into breakout room 1. So that is how you do breakout rooms in Teams. Very cool, right? And now if you want to leave, just click here. I've left room 3. Click here. I've left room 2. I am now in what? Room 1. I can just click here and then oops, off I go. I'm no longer in the room. All right. So that is how you create breakout rooms and then assign or join the breakout rooms. Hopefully this was useful. The next thing I'm going to show you is how do you share, how do you call it, PowerPoint presentations. Now, ideally, what you're going to do is that if I was doing, let's say, if I was doing um, a presentation right now, okay, let's go ahead and let me change my, yeah, integrated camera is fine. So let's say if I was doing a presentation right now and I needed to share, let's say, a PowerPoint, let's go ahead and open. I'm going to open this one. Now, what's going to happen is that ideally I would I would open the PowerPoint, okay? I would open the PowerPoint and then share a screen. All right? Now, but forgetting that when you do that, what's going to happen is that we're going to see all the PowerPoint. So let me show you this. So I'm just going to go here and do share. Now, this is what I want you to watch out for. Now, here you can see I can share a desktop, I can share a window, or I can decide just to share this PowerPoint. All right. Now, look at this side critically. There's another option called PowerPoint. Now, when you pick, let's pick just the regular PowerPoint and see what's happening. So right now, you should probably see that you will not see it, but then it's sharing this PowerPoint screen. So it's going to share this together with all the menu items and all that. Okay, cool. Let me stop sharing. Now, in order to make it much more appealing and much more interesting that even your, how do you call it, your fellow colleagues on the call can even look at the slides, the best thing to do is to use the PowerPoint section. So let me show you this. So this is what I mean here. You should see a PowerPoint section this side, and then this allows you to upload a PowerPoint file. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to open this PowerPoint file that is already saved in OneDrive. It has to be saved in OneDrive. So you share. Now, so what happens is that this file now is going to be available to all the participants on the call, right? This is going to be available to all the participants on the call, and then you can see this here. That's going. This is what I wanted to show you. Now here, you see this control. Now what happens is that you are now using this control to advance the slides. In the same way, all participants on the call would also see this to be able to advance, like go back and advance on their own, because this is a shared presentation. All right. Now there's something. So if I do this, is that it's going to advance and all that. Now there's something here I want you to notice. Now sometimes you're doing a public presentation and you don't want anybody to just advance or take control of it, right? So you see this right here, this particular icon, right? Clicking on this icon enables you to disable. So when I click this, look at what happened at the top here. Let's go to the top and see what happened here. They're saying that private viewing disabled. Participants cannot move through your shared presentation on their own. All right. So this is something that you can use to share PowerPoint within a Teams call to make your life very easy and also allow your participants to enjoy it. Last week, I showed you how to use the PowerPoint online and how you can actually have it closed captioning and do stuff, what people, and even translate to different languages for people looking at your slide, right? Awesome. So let's close this call. Yep. So I think that, sorry about that. I think that brings us to the end of today's session. Yeah, I really wanted to keep it, quite simple and keep it straightforward. And yeah, I managed to do that. So, thank you very much for another, episode, joining me for another episode. On Sunday, yes, I'm going to bring you a Power series, but it's going to be me showing you some cool stuff that has happened on the Power platform for all this while. And then from next week, we're going to bring back our able guest on the various shows. So it's Friday night here. So we'll meet again another Friday. Be safe. COVID is real. Stay, be healthy, stay with family, learn new stuff, upgrade yourself and do good in the community. Until then, I am out.